Yeah, so it was kind of the plan. We were like, okay, we're gonna do a song a month, and then I was posting on my Instagram story a bunch of stuff because I'm not like a superstitious person. I'm gonna prerequisite this with I'm not a very superstitious person, but look what time it is. It's 2:20. I've been seeing 2-2 so much, and I was like, every time I saw it, I was like, oh, like ha ha ha, 2-2 again.
Well, I'm Adam. Very nice to meet you, Daniel. Thank you so much for doing this.
Adam, thanks for having me.
Of course. This is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the new song you just put out.
Sweet, sounds good.
Awesome, awesome. So, where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. It's
Oh,
pretty small town in a small state. So
sure. What was it like
Just-
growing up there?
it was good. It was everybody knows everybody, so that's a blessing and a curse. It's been
Sure.
interesting kind of going about the whole music thing. Everybody's been pretty supportive, so it's fun. Like when I go back home, I just moved to New York, which is obviously super different. But when I go back home, it's always fun. Everybody's like, "Wow, what are you doing in New York?"
Oh, that's awesome. So, did you recently move to New York?
Yeah, I moved here, I guess, like 3.5 months ago.
Oh, wow.
So
And had you
big,
spent the rest of your life was in Rhode Island then, huh?
yeah, yeah. I
So
went to
big.
school. I went to school down in Virginia though for 4 years. So I got out
Oh,
for 4. Yeah,
okay. If you went to college there or something?
yeah. I went to UVA.
Oh, cool. Well, okay. So growing up in Rhode Island, did you like, I mean, you said small town. So was there a lot of like music? I mean, did bands come through where you're at or not really?
Not a whole lot, honestly. I've recently connected with a few producers, pretty successful producers, and a couple songwriters there, which I honestly didn't know. They live like 5 minutes away from me. The live music scene isn't too poppin' in Rhode Island in general, and that's
Okay.
something we were talking about. Honestly, I got coffee with them, a couple of them over Christmas break when everybody was home, and we were kind of like, hey, come on, let's try and get it going here. Like it's kind
Yeah.
of cool. It's like not a lot of people in my town in general. So the ratio to musicians to people is actually pretty
Pretty
big.
small. Oh, pretty big. Okay.
Yeah, like there's like I don't even know what the population is in my town. It's pretty small. And then there's like five, I think, people. Most of them are out in LA, but
Right on. That's
that's
cool.
cool.
So I did see that you're concert pianist. You're like classically trained. Is that what I read?
Yeah, somewhat. I started that when I was like 8. My grandma had passed down a big Steinway grand piano at our house, so I got pretty lucky.
Wow.
I didn't know it was like a nice piano until I got older. My dad was like, that's a nice piano. I was like, yeah, it's like I would like go. We would do kind of once a year we would go to a nursing home and play recitals, and I did that for when I was younger for a while, like 5 or 6 years, and then I actually quit piano for a while. I just like wasn't that interested in like learning other songs, and then I kind of picked it back up in high school, just playing by ear. I would just kind of like smash a couple notes and be like, okay. And that's when I started writing. I kind of was like, oh wow, you can kind of do what you want. You don't have to like just read sheet music.
Sure. So you said 8 was when you started piano?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Was it just because you had the piano from grandma? Is that what
yeah.
kind of got you Okay.
Exactly.
What
Mr.
about
G. Mr. G used to come over.
oh, he'd come
Love.
to your house and you'd learn from him?
Yeah. It was
You
awesome.
still keep in contact?
He unfortunately passed, but
Oh, I'm
he
sorry.
was he was old when it was really impressive, honestly. Both so I have a younger sister and older brother, and we all took lessons from him for 5 or 6 years. And
Wow.
it was impressive. He was still kicking. He was a jazz pianist, so he would sit down sometimes and jam out. He's pretty good.
That's cool. Did your either your siblings continue with music or no?
No, they can both hold a tune, but
But they don't play.
no, not
Not
really.
like you. Right on. Well, having a piano, your grandma having a piano, was that something that she played or I'm not sure if you said it was your mom or dad's mom,
It
but
was my dad's mom. I don't think she played.
did
My dad's sister who lived at home for a while. She played. So
okay, so that's what the piano
yeah,
was from.
yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay, cool. And then you played it, you said 6 years or so,
Yeah,
just from 8 on, and
yeah.
then you put it down. How long did you stop playing? Were you just over it? You're like, okay, I'm done playing.
Yeah, I think it was
Oh,
partially like I was getting older and I would be like, I forget what it was. It was like the time when like Dynamite, like all that music in like 2010, you know what I mean? And I was like,
mhm.
oh, like this music's sick. Like, can we get like the sheet music for that? And it was kind of like we were playing because we would play at the nursing home, so
Yeah, yeah.
we would learn a bunch of like old tunes, and I was kind of like, oh man, I want to play some like cool stuff.
Some fun stuff.
So I put
Sure.
it down for a bit, and then I just picked it back up by ear.
So you never did like the school band or anything like that?
No, I did. Well, yeah, I did, but I did it for drums.
Oh, okay. So you also
Oh,
play drums.
I did it for drums, and then I did it for the glockenspiel, which is like I remember that there was so I was playing drums, and then there was a xylophone man needed for one of the songs. This was in like 5th grade, and then the guy, I was like, I mean, it's set up like a piano, so I was like, hey, I can jam on it.
Figure it out. Yeah, yeah.
I bought a xylophone, and I actually played the xylophone for quite a bit.
That's cool. With drums, is that came later after piano though?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was. I mean, I could if there was a drum set, I could sit down and play like a bass beat, but I'm not. I'm no drummer.
Okay, you didn't stick with the drums?
No, not really.
Did you play? I mean, to be in the band in 5th grade, did that move on at all, or did you stay in the marching band or the band at school, or did you stop after that 5th grade?
No, I kind of stopped. It was middle school. Yeah, 5th grade to 8th grade, I was drumming, and I never played the piano in the band. And then in high school, I was in the chorus. We had like it was like a class option. You could like go to school early, and like take it as a class. And they had a trip planned for Rome, so I was like, oh, we gotta go.
Oh wow! So you get to go to
I joined
Rome?
the chorus. Yeah, we went. We sang. We sang a little bit around Rome. Took a
That's
couple
amazing.
tours. It was fun.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. When you picked piano back up, you said you started writing songs at that point.
Yeah, that was kind of like, I don't know. For me, it's more about like hearing it and kind of just like messing around. Like I would kind of try. I would hear a song I liked, and then I kind of started listening to Billy Joel and would sound out on the piano. And then when I would like get something wrong, maybe I'd be like, oh wait, but it doesn't sound bad. It's not the song, but it doesn't sound bad. So could we like do something different? And that's kind of when I started to like be able or realize I was able to just kind of like make things up, out of nothing.
Were you writing lyrics and singing to the songs at this point yet, or was it mainly just music?
Yeah, so this was like early on in high school. I had started to kind of just to write some lyrics to it started just melodically on the piano, and then I would kind of start to put lyrics to it, but I didn't show anyone for a while.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
It was just your thing.
Yeah.
What or when did you end up showing people? Like, what gave you the courage to do that?
In college, I had a friend I got super close to, because a lot of the stuff, I mean, not all of it, but a lot of the music for me is like pretty vulnerable. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
Right.
and especially when no one's heard it, it's kind of scary. It's like, oh God, like A, I don't know if this is good. B, are they going to be like, oh, are you okay, man? You know what I mean?
Right.
I got really close to a friend, and I was like, I showed her, I was just like, oh, I made this, by the way. Like I wrote it, and she was like, oh my God, this is so good. And then she like made me play it for someone else. And then I played it for like a few people, and then they were like, oh wow, no, this is good. I was like, oh, this is like people would listen to this? Like, oh, cool.
And then okay. So like after that point, did you like record it? Like once you kind of got that validation, like, oh, this is something people should hear. Did you kind of run with it at that point, or still not really?
It took a little bit of time. I'd messed around. I started to realize like there's a difference between like sitting at my piano and singing a song, and then like recording it and producing it and making it something that like random people would click on and stay the whole 3 minutes or whatever and listen through. So I'd been producing just like random, just for fun, on like Ableton, the free version of Ableton and GarageBand and stuff. And then once COVID hit, I was like, that was after I had started showing people, just like I'd play in my room and people would like just come sit and like relax. And during COVID, I was like, oh, I bought a mic and just started recording it and messing around. And I was releasing that stuff just on Spotify, and just like anybody who wants to listen, like stop by.
Oh, okay. So are some of those earlier songs that you have on Spotify, were those from those early recordings that you were doing?
Yeah. That's
really
why maybe like the technical sound engineering isn't quite there, but
no, they sound good. Like, I mean, up to what point when did you stop doing that? Because I mean, all the songs sound like they're I was gonna ask because the most recent one that you just released, Last One Standing, the vocal is way clearer. Like I feel like on the other ones, it has like that really lo-fi vibe to it, even like Crutches and Ticket Home and stuff. But this
Yeah.
new one, it really cuts through, and you can really hear how. Not that the other ones you can't sound like
Oh,
they
totally.
don't sound like you sing well or anything. Yeah, I mean they sound great. There's like a filter I feel like it's on it, like a little like that kind of goes on all those previous songs up until this one, and this one's just like raw vocal.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's funny you say that. Like, that's been a conversation that I've been having. Like, it's that's something that like it's just a few things in like EQing and stuff of like the kind of the reverb I use, and it has that like underwater, like you said, like lo-fi feel most of the
Yeah.
time. I think with this one, since it's just piano and the vocal, I was like, oh, I'm gonna maybe just make it a little clearer. And I've just been getting better. It's not like you said, it's not that it's like better, or they sound bad. It's just maybe a little higher quality sounding. But I don't know.
Yeah, like
I mean,
it
I think
cut
I'll
it.
flip. I'll think I'll flip between the two going forward because I kind of like. I don't know. And we were talking about this too. I don't want to change too much because I mean, people are receiving it pretty well, and that's all that
Mhm.
matters to me. And I think there's something cool about like when it's in like a Spotify playlist or something, and people are listening through, and then they hit me, and it's kind of like this weird like lo-fi. They're like, "Wait, what is this?" You know? And I think that's kind of something I want to keep going. So
No, yeah, like I said, I thought the other songs were really good too. I like how you described it as like it's an underwater sounding, and it does have that vibe. Like it doesn't like you can hear it's you. You can hear that the vocal is good and it's there.
mm,
It's but there's some like there's something to it that makes it a little bit more lo-fi sounding. And then going from listening to like Crutches and then playing the new one, it's like, whoa, like this one's like so much more crisp. Like you like stuck your head out of the water and started singing.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, tell me about. So, were you going to school for music or not at all?
No, no. I was in school for architecture.
Okay. So you're doing that. Did you finish? Like, when does COVID happen? Were you still in college at this point?
Yeah, I was a junior. So yeah, I finished. Yeah.
But you ended up like during COVID, really kind of taking the music thing seriously a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And then it kind of, I always knew, I mean, like we all, not we all, but we all have our dreams, you know what I mean? And it's always like been in the back of my mind, like, oh, that would be sick, obviously, you know? And
Hmm.
then COVID happened, and then TikTok started happening, you know? And then I haven't had too much success on TikTok, but I had like a couple, enough things kind of move a little bit on there to be like, oh, you know, like this is something that I could do. And then
Hmm.
I graduated, and I was living at home for a while and worked at the golf course near my house. And then yeah.
And then what? Crutches happened, or was there a
Yeah,
bigger moment?
and then
Okay.
Garrett Nash reached out to me. I had it was like the early days of TikTok when like you could just like be like, "Hey, I made this song," and then put it
Uh-huh.
up. People be like, "Whoa!" And Garrett Nash found me, and we wrote Crutches together, and then yeah.
And then, so you hadn't had the Crutches moment, like the viral moment on that song yet when he
No, I
reached
had
out to
had
you?
ball so there's a song Ballerina.
Oh
That
yeah.
was
Okay.
one. Yeah.
So
That was
that
one
one.
where I was sitting in my car and I was like, "I just graduated college and, yeah, I made this song about growing up."
Oh, really? And was that the first real moment you had on TikTok then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. What was that like? I mean, that happens, and are you like, oh my, like, whoa, this is wild.
Yeah, it was like I mean, I had been trying on TikTok for a while too, so I was like I was starting to it was right when I was like, you know, and I was like looking for architecture jobs and like,
About to
you
give
know.
up on it.
Not yeah, yeah, I would still probably have been making music, but I was like, "Yeah, you know, this just isn't for me." And then I just like it was just like stream of consciousness just like picked up my phone and started talking and playing this song, and I was like, "Oh, cool."
Wow. Wow. So once that's happening, what was that like? Are you like checking the views all the time? Like that's what I would do. I'd be like
Yeah,
lottery,
yeah, I'm
like
like
slot
refreshing it.
machine.
Yeah, it is like you're like hypnotized. You're like, "Oh,
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. That's well, because Ballerina is the first song I heard from you, and I think that's like maybe the first or second song that's on your Spotify.
definitely, yeah, yeah."
Okay. So that went. Were you releasing your own songs prior to that one, or like on TikTok, or are you trying to do covers, or like how did you start?
Yeah, that was I had done a bunch of covers
Okay.
and I did like it was like 2000s radio hits soft turned soft or something. It was all
That's cool.
I was doing like, I don't even know, like Pitbull songs, you know, with
Oh, that's funny.
like Kesha, stuff like that. But none of those took. And then I just kind of just started putting up the stuff I was currently writing.
Uh-huh.
And then I wrote, yeah, I guess it was before I even released Ballerina. I like wrote the song and just like sang it, and it got like something, and then I released it, and then I got something, you know what I mean? I just kept getting
Yeah.
like a couple videos going, and I was like, oh, nice.
Okay. And then Garrett Nash reaches out to you.
Yeah.
And
And
that
that for
was
me was like insane because I've been listening to Nash for, oh my God. I was like, GNASH, that's him.
yeah, no, okay. So you knew who he was at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. I was like, I mean, I played it. I was like, oh, dope. He was like, want to jam sometime? I was like, yeah, man, for sure. But I was like, oh my God, this is sick.
Trying to play it cool.
Yeah.
And then
Because
how did
I've
you
been, I
guys
mean,
end up?
my first breakup, I remember sitting in my driveway in East Greenwich, Rhode Island, like just in my car listening to Tell Me It's Okay. I was like, tell
Oh
me.
wow. I've interviewed him before. He's a really good guy.
Awesome.
So did you end up like you end up meeting up with him? Like how did that happen? Like or
We,
where'd you guys meet up at?
we just Zoomed and talked, just like introduced ourselves. And then we were texting about something, and then I was like, oh, like how does, because I still haven't honestly done that many sessions. I was like, he was like, oh, I'm hopping in a session, like we'll listen when I'm done. I was just kind of like sending him some music I was working on for feedback and stuff like that. And then he
Mhm.
was like, oh, we could hop on one sometime if you wanted to. I was like, oh yeah. And then we that's when we wrote Crutches on the Zoom.
Wow. Oh, okay. And then when you put that out, did it happen right away or was another kind of
That was slow. I was kind of
slow?
like, well, so that we wrote Crutches because I had surgery on my knee like
Oh.
2 weeks after we wrote it. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on crutches for 4 months. And he was like, what if we just make a song called Crutches? I was like, oh yeah, that'd be funny. So I was sitting at home. It was like around December, like Christmas time. So I just started putting out, it wasn't even out yet. And I was just putting it on
Like
TikTok.
teasing
Like,
it?
yeah, I'm on crutches and I wrote a song called Crutches.
Oh, okay.
And then it started to like gain a little traction. And that's when we started to really put some effort behind it.
And then it blows up, right?
Yeah.
And
That
what
was,
that had to be like going next level from like, Nash reaching out to you and you're writing a song and then now you have one with him and it just goes like crazy on TikTok. Like what was the difference between that? I mean, besides the views and stuff, like what was the difference between like from what happened, like as far as your career went when that one went versus the first time?
the first time so that was like, I think it's because I had already been talking with Garrett, and like before I had some people reach out to me just on any side of like the business side, because I just didn't I didn't I was just doing this all out of my bedroom. I still pretty much am, but I just didn't have a team or anything, so I
Yeah.
was talking to some people after Ballerina, but then this was kind of more like we had done it together, so it was just, I wasn't like alone, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It was
So
kind
he
of,
was able to kind of help you navigate some of that a bit.
okay, yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. Especially to have somebody that has success like that kind of in your corner when it
oh yeah,
comes to these things.
yeah.
That's amazing. You've been releasing did I see that you released a song on the 22nd of the month?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. I want to know the story behind it. And how many have you done? Like how many months in a row have you put a song out?
Ooh, so this is, I think,
Oh, it's 8 now.
eight,
Wow. Okay.
8 or yeah, we're coming up on 8 or 9. I'm not, but yeah, it was kind of,
I think I read 8 actually now that you've
yeah,
mentioned it.
I think it's every
Yeah.
time I'm like chapter, because it's like a storybook. That's how we're looking at it, and I'm like chapter, but I forgot what chapter we're on, honestly.
Okay, so
um,
you put out so chapter 1, does it start as this? Like, did you know you were going to continue on doing the 22nd of the month and it's going to I'm going to release a new chapter every single month? Like that was already kind of something you had the idea of early on
yeah,
or 8
definitely.
months ago at least?
Yeah, so it was kind of the plan. We were like, okay, we're gonna do a song a month, and then I was posting on my Instagram story a bunch of stuff because I'm not like a superstitious person. I'm gonna prerequisite this with, I'm not a very superstitious person, but look what time it is. It's 2:20. I've been seeing 2:2 so much, And I was like, every time I saw it, I was like, oh, like ha ha ha, 2-2 again. And it was just a thing. Like there was a license plate in front of me that was like 2-2-2-2-2-2-2, and I was like, what is going on?
Oh,
And
wow.
and then Roosevelt, my management was like, oh, what if we just do 22 of every month, you know? So I was like,
Uh-huh. So that's how it started.
yeah.
Okay. And you put the first one out, well, I can't do math, but 8 months ago. What was the first one you put on to on the 22nd? Was it
That
Bellevue?
was Sausalito.
Okay, Sausalito.
Yeah.
And then that was chapter 1. And so where is the story headed? Like, is it, you said it's a storybook.
Yeah, so it's headed to our EP, which comes out February 22nd. So that,
Oh, okay. So the EP is coming out this month, and the 22nd
yes,
this month is the EP of all of the chapters within the book.
yes. Yeah, so there's I guess this would be chapter 9 then. So that comes out with the EP on February 22nd, and we have the track list. It's fun to listen to. I'm excited for people to hear it. Like now, kind of the model is just like release a single every month, you know. But I'm so excited for people to listen top to bottom because it does. There's like a story behind it, you know.
Okay, so there is kind of a concept behind the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you
So
talk about that at all, or
yeah,
are
totally.
you gonna wait?
It's
Okay.
Runaway. Well, yeah, and I've been like having a hard time figuring out how to introduce this, you know. So this is a good place to start.
Oh, awesome! I love it.
Runaway. It's Runaway, the EP. The title track is Runaway. I've released that right after Crutches. And yeah, we kind of created the character as you see in all the art, the lizard, legs the lizard, and it kind of just roughly is based on just like growing up. Not from the standpoint of like running away, like you're running away from something, but you're just like, I don't know. I think that like a lot of young people right now are like, is there something more, you know? Like I just moved to New York and it's like, what do you do on the weekends? Let's go out. It's like, what else? Like, isn't there something else we could do? You know, like, and it's kind of just that general feeling of like, what if we just like pick up everything and just like run around the world and just be like, I don't know what's happening, you know? And that's fine. So it's kind of that general sentiment that I tried to put in the storybook.
Wow. Okay. And then this most recent one will be a part of the story as well.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I love the art. It's like the little frog guy that you have going through the whole thing. But I did notice on this new, oh no, he is. It's just the cover's black. You just kind of inverted the color scheme on it. Because I
Yeah.
was going to ask you about that. Like I was wondering if it was different, part of a different project, but it's still the same character, at least from the art. The single art.
Yeah. It's sometimes I think we'll probably just do like maybe we'll introduce some color in the next project. But sometimes it's nighttime. So
No, I like what. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Then that becomes the night because there's a moon that he's okay. My ignorance on the drawings. Well, okay. Well, what with this new one with Last One Standing, was this recorded in the same room that you did the other ones?
Yeah. This
Okay.
is
So it's the same setup. It just the vocal is just produced a little different.
yeah. I think that's that was the only one that I've recorded kind of like after like in this like newer stage. Most of the other vocals have been recorded for a while. So I think that's where that comes along. Obviously, I mean, I work every day, just like record something and then go on YouTube. We're like, how do I do this? How do I do that? So I think that's kind of just more of a natural progression of me just mixing things differently. But yeah, and I like that kind of because like Sausalito, I wrote that before I showed anyone any songs. That was in that stage of me just sitting in my college room, just being like writing stuff. So I kind of think that's something cool about this project. A lot of it's like from a while ago.
And it was all recorded. So all these are the ones that have came out are all the original recordings so it's all basically done by you, produced and recorded by you.
Yeah, for the most part.
Wow,
yeah,
that's
on
impressive.
A lot of them. Thanks. I try and do as much as I can, you know, and then when like for example like Runaway, we got Elon Rubin to come in and do the drums because I'll try to do the drums on my little pad, you know, and then it's like, oh, it sounds okay, but it's like for a song like that, it's like this could be really epic, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Drums, I didn't realize he drummed on it. I'm from San Diego originally. He's from San Diego.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he play? He played in Nine Inch Nails, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He was in a couple other bands in San Diego before. And I remember when he joined Nine Inch Nails, like people were like in the local scene freaking out, like, oh my gosh, how is he in this band? But Oh, that's awesome. Did you have anyone else play on the record, or is it pretty much just he's the only
That,
added
and then
addition?
Ahmad Royal came in and he finished it up production wise. They work together a lot, and I mean Ahmad's obviously he's just such a good producer, and
Yeah.
that was like yeah, that was something where it was just I could do as much as, and that's a good example of like I can do as much as I can in my room, but then at some point it's like it's definitely worth it to get people to help, obviously.
Right, but the amount of stuff you can accomplish and like the sound that you get just out of your room by yourself is
Thanks,
really, yeah, really impressive, man.
thanks.
Um, awesome. So what about the next one coming out with the EP? Is that like the final chapter? That is that going to wrap up the full? Because Runaway is the title of the EP, but that wasn't the first one you put out, right? That wasn't chapter one.
Right, yeah.
And will
Runaway.
it sit as chapter one or no? Or is it gonna is the track listing the order that you've put the songs out?
For the most part, there are some differences,
Oh, okay.
kind of just based on also like releasing a song a month and then being like which ones will pair nicely in terms of like promoting them, kind of in that
Mhm.
order. So like the order did kind of shift a little bit, but for the most part, chapter one is Sausalito because it's
Okay,
got
I was gonna say that's cool though, because when people get it, like they can't just play it through. They might not be able to play it through now, knowing what
that. Yeah,
what it's gonna look like at the end. Because it's like, okay, I
exactly.
can listen to all the songs, but now I have to wait for the not only the last chapter to come out, but I need to figure out what is the real order of the storyline.
Yeah, I honestly never thought of it like that, so that's good. I'm gonna use that.
All right, do it, dude. It's all
They
you.
got to
That's
piece it
awesome.
together, right? No, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Because
it'll be
right
more
now they don't know yet. We don't know how it ends and how it begins. Well, yes, you told us how it begins, but I mean the middle of it, the meat of it, we won't know, and especially how it wraps up at the end. But I can't wait to hear it all the way through, man. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm excited for you.
Um, well, yeah, one more quick question on just this project before I have my last question for you. Is the next one you're putting out? Is it how are the vocals similar to Last One Standing, or are they closer to what you did prior?
They're the prior. So that
Okay.
Garrett was like, um, that song that's from a while ago. That's from I think before Crutches or maybe around the time of Crutches, back November of last year. So
Which
that's
one?
like
The one coming out?
yeah, it's like the real
Okay.
real OG the real OG Underwater. It's very underwater.
Oh, cool.
But it's like I don't know. That was kind of something I forgot about, and he was like, "Dude, this is just so good. This is a good way to the first project of just being like, okay, this sums up kind of like how that period was, and then we can move on to the more we can come out of the water."
Come out of the water. I love it, man.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, again, I think that's what a cool concept that you have going on now, and what you're doing is rad. And the fact that you're doing it all essentially yourself as far as the recording goes, it's
nice
pretty impressive, man. I have one more question for you. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
advice. I mean I'm still on the stage where I'm looking for advice myself, so I don't know if I'm the best person to ask. I think it's for me. I was talking to someone who's a rapper, a friend of a friend, and he was kind of like, "Hey man, like any," and I'm just kind of like, just release music, show people your music, and just keep making music. I think that's like it's super easy. Like we were talking about before about when I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go like I'll just keep applying for jobs. I'll just do it, and it's like super easy to do that. And I mean, there's always moments of doubt, obviously, but just keep doing it if you love it, and you know, just keep going. Something's gonna bite.
Bringing it backward.